Welcome to World Decoder. Today we explore a radical shift in modern warfare, decoding the devastating mass weaponry doctrine and Shahed drones. Throughout military history, expensive and highly advanced weapons have always been considered the ultimate measure of a nation and its battlefield power. For decades, global superpowers invested billions of dollars into creating sophisticated machines, believing that absolute technological superiority would guarantee absolute military victory. We have seen massive aircraft carriers and stealth fighters dominate the skies, projecting an aura of invincibility across the entire global landscape. But the landscape of global conflict is rapidly changing. A new, unprecedented strategy has emerged to challenge this long-standing technological dominance. Iran has fundamentally altered the rules of engagement with a controversial yet highly effective approach known as the mass weaponry military doctrine. This doctrine completely ignores the pursuit of perfection. Instead, it focuses entirely on overwhelming the enemy through sheer, unstoppable numerical combat superiority. To truly understand this terrifying paradigm shift, we must take a closer look at the infamous Shahed 136 drone. Let us first examine the traditional approach to unmanned aerial vehicles, heavily favored by Western military powers over the past few decades. Consider the American MQ-9 Reaper, a marvel of modern engineering that represents the absolute pinnacle of contemporary military aviation flight technology. A single Reaper drone costs tens of millions of dollars, packed with incredibly complex sensors and highly secure satellite data transmission links. These premium machines are designed for precision strikes and continuous surveillance, operating with near-perfect accuracy in highly controlled combat mission environments. However, this immense capability comes with a critical vulnerability. Losing just one of these expensive assets is a massive financial military blow. The Shahed 136 goes in the completely opposite direction. It embraces extreme minimalism to achieve maximum strategic combat impact. It strips away all the luxurious technology, leaving only the bare essentials required to deliver a deadly explosive payload to its destination. Engineers designed this machine not to return home, but to complete a single, highly destructive kamikaze mission against a predetermined enemy target. With an estimated price tag ranging from $20,000 to $50,000, it is incredibly cheap by modern global military standards. For the cost of one single Reaper drone, a military force could theoretically manufacture and deploy hundreds of these deadly flying machines. Visually, the Shahed is remarkably simple. Some military analysts have accurately described it as a flying motorcycle carrying a powerful explosive payload. It is powered by a loud, commercially available civilian piston engine, which gives it a distinct and terrifying buzzing sound flying overhead. The true brilliance of this weapon does not lie in high-end technology, but in its absolute ability to exhaust enemy defenses. Imagine a nightmare scenario unfolding on the battlefield. A massive, coordinated strike begins with dozens of these cheap drones launching simultaneously together. Soon the sky is completely filled with hundreds of unmanned aerial vehicles, all flying relentlessly toward a single, heavily fortified military objective. Modern air defense systems like the renowned Patriot missile battery or the Iron Dome are engineering miracles designed for specific combat threats. These sophisticated shields were carefully built to intercept high-value, extremely fast targets like ballistic missiles or advanced supersonic enemy fighter jets. They rely on incredibly advanced radar arrays and interceptor missiles that cost millions of dollars each to manufacture and safely deploy militarily. When forced to confront a massive swarm of slow-moving, cheap drones, these elite defense networks face a terrible economic combat dilemma. Firing a $2 million interceptor missile to destroy a $20,000 drone is completely irrational from a basic economic perspective. If a nation continues to defend itself this way, it will quickly bankrupt its military budget long before the brutal war ends. Yet, ignoring the incoming swarm is not an option. Each cheap drone carries enough explosive power to destroy critical civilian power infrastructure. This agonizing choice is exactly what the mass weaponry doctrine aims to force upon its technologically superior and financially wealthy global adversaries. The primary tactical objective of launching these massive drone swarms is to create a dangerous phenomenon known as complete radar system saturation. Every air defense system has a hard limit on how many targets it can simultaneously track and safely engage at any moment. When the sheer number of incoming threats suddenly exceeds this processing capacity, the fire control channels become completely overwhelmed and instantly paralyzed. The radar screens light up with countless hostile blips, making it impossible for human operators to prioritize the most dangerous incoming threats. This deliberate overload causes the entire defense network to stutter, creating brief but fatal gaps in the once impenetrable protective military shield. These critical vulnerabilities are exactly what the attackers are waiting for. The drone swarm is merely the first wave of incoming destruction. Once the air defense systems are depleted of ammunition and blinded by the swarm, the real devastating attack finally begins overhead immediately. Heavier, far more lethal ballistic and cruise missiles are launched, slipping easily through the newly created holes in the broken defense network. Without the protective umbrella of the Patriot or Iron Dome, these advanced missiles can strike their high-value targets with absolute impunity. This brutal strategy perfectly encapsulates the dark essence of modern asymmetric warfare, where traditional rules of military engagement no longer apply today. It is a brilliant, terrifying concept, using cheap, mass-produced quantity to completely neutralize and defeat expensive, highly advanced military technological quality. The Shahed does not need to be the smartest weapon in the sky. It only needs to be reliable and extremely numerous. As long as it can follow basic GPS coordinates and reach its target, it successfully fulfills its grim and highly destructive purpose. Even if 80% of the swarm is shot down, the remaining 20% will still cause massive infrastructure damage and chaos. Furthermore, the sheer psychological terror of hearing that relentless buzzing sound approach in the dark cannot be underestimated in any modern conflict. Civilians and soldiers alike are forced to seek shelter, disrupting daily life and halting critical military operations across the entire affected region. The logistics of defending against such an attack are incredibly daunting. Replenishing high-tech interceptor missiles takes months of complex precision manufacturing. In contrast, building more Shahed drones requires only basic materials, simple civilian engines, and a few weeks of basic assembly line work. This massive disparity in production speed gives the attacker a continuous, overwhelming advantage in a prolonged and exhausting global war of attrition. Global military strategists are now scrambling to develop new, cost-effective countermeasures to defeat this rising tide of cheap, deadly drone swarms. Laser weapons and advanced electronic warfare jamming systems are currently being tested as potential solutions to this rapidly growing global military crisis. However, until these futuristic technologies are widely deployed, the mass weaponry doctrine will continue to dominate the modern battlefield without any mercy. We are witnessing a historical turning point where the democratization of destructive power is fundamentally altering global geopolitics and international national security. Smaller nations and non-state actors now possess the ability to project strategic power previously reserved only for wealthy global military superpowers. The battlefield has been permanently leveled. A multi-million-dollar defense array can now be threatened by a simple garage-built machine. This forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about military strength, defense budgets, and the unpredictable future of global conflict. Will the future of warfare be defined by highly advanced artificial intelligence, or by endless waves of cheap, disposable flying mechanical machines? The answer likely lies somewhere in between, as both sides continuously adapt and evolve their strategies in this deadly global arms race. One thing is absolutely certain. The era of relying solely on expensive, low-quantity wonder weapons is rapidly coming to a definitive end. Armies around the world must now learn to fight and survive in an unforgiving environment where the sky is filled with enemies. They must develop hybrid defense networks that combine high-end interceptors with cheap, rapid-fire anti-aircraft artillery and advanced laser turrets. The Shahed 136 has proven that extreme simplicity and overwhelming numbers can defeat even the most sophisticated technological marvels. It serves as a stark reminder that in war, basic economics and logistics are just as important as advanced stealth and speed. A weapon is only truly effective if you can afford to use it, and easily afford to lose it in massive quantities. The mass weaponry doctrine has successfully exploited the financial vulnerabilities of modern defense systems, turning their extreme high costs against them perfectly. We must closely study these new asymmetric tactics if we hope to understand exactly how tomorrow's global wars will be fought and won. The terrifying buzzing of the Shahed drone is not just a sound of destruction, it is the loud alarm bell of a new era. It signals a profound shift away from the traditional Cold War mentality of building fewer but vastly superior complex combat weapon systems. Today, the ability to mass produce good enough weapons often trumps the ability to handcraft a single, flawless piece of advanced technology. This industrial reality is forcing major defense contractors to completely rethink their design philosophies and prioritize rapid manufacturing over extreme engineering precision. The massive conflict of the future will be won by the factories that can churn out thousands of drones in a single week. It is a terrifying return to the brutal wars of attrition seen in the past, but fought with completely new, unmanned autonomous technologies. As we analyze the impact of the Shahed, we must also consider the ethical implications of unleashing autonomous swarms into active combat zones. While currently guided by simple GPS coordinates, the next generation of these cheap drones could feature advanced artificial intelligence and complex swarming algorithms. They could learn to communicate with each other in real time, dynamically adjusting their flight paths to actively avoid evolving air defenses. This would make the mass weaponry doctrine exponentially more dangerous, as the swarm becomes a single, highly intelligent, and rapidly adaptive organism. Defending against a smart swarm will require a completely new paradigm in electronic warfare and automated high-speed artificial intelligence threat assessment systems. Until then, the brutal mathematics of the current modern battlefield remain unchanged. Quantity possesses a unique and terrifying quality all its very own. The Shahed 136 has forever etched its name into the military history books as a true pioneer of asymmetric warfare. It has humiliated billion-dollar defense programs and forced the greatest military minds to scramble for immediate, cost-effective tactical battlefield solutions. As we look toward the horizon, we must prepare for a dark world where the skies are increasingly crowded with these deadly machines. The democratization of drone technology means that this specific threat will only continue to spread to new conflict zones across the entire globe. We are entering an unpredictable age where the barrier to entry for devastating aerial bombardment has never been lower or more easily accessible. Understanding the complex mechanics of radar saturation and swarm tactics is no longer just for military experts. It is absolutely crucial global knowledge. By decoding these modern strategies, we can better comprehend the complex geopolitical shifts that are currently reshaping our fragile and highly volatile world. The illusion of total security provided by advanced technology has been completely shattered by the relentless reality of mass-produced, cheap military weaponry. We must remain vigilant and continuously adapt our understanding of power dynamics in this rapidly evolving landscape of modern global military conflict. The harsh lessons learned from the deployment of the Shahed drone will undoubtedly influence military doctrine for many generations to come globally. It is a fascinating, albeit dark, study in human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of tactical advantage through highly unconventional military means. As defense systems evolve to counter the swarm will inevitably evolve to bypass those newly implemented defensive technological countermeasures rapidly. This eternal cat-and-mouse game of military innovation ensures that the battlefield will remain a place of constant, highly unpredictable technological transformation. We will continue to analyze these critical developments, bringing you the most in-depth and accurate assessments of modern global military combat strategies. Our core mission is to break down the complexities of global conflict, making them easily accessible and understandable for our dedicated viewing audience. By shedding light on these dark corners of warfare, we sincerely hope to foster a deeper awareness of our rapidly changing global reality. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the terrifying effectiveness of the mass weaponry doctrine and modern drone combat swarms. This has been World Decoder. Stay curious, stay informed, and we will definitely see you in the next episode for more military analysis.